Prices are rising again, and this time it's being driven by war. We see fuel costs jumping, and food prices are starting to climb. And for many pensioners, this is the start of another squeeze on our income. Energy prices rise first, then transport costs increase, then food follows. And as a consequence, our spending power starts to fall. Hello, it's Angie, and this is UK Money Wisdom. Today, I am preparing us for the difficult times ahead of us this year. But there are right and wrong ways of helping ourselves, and I have prepared individual scenarios and fixes for 3 different categories of income to reach as many of us as I can. So stay with me to get the information you need at the present time to stay ahead of this situation. We've all seen the disruption caused by the Hormuz Straits being closed off, preventing supplies of oil from reaching us. These are the consequences of how the Iran war drives up UK prices. Oil prices rise because supply is disrupted and fuel costs will naturally increase. Transport costs will rise, making distribution more expensive, and as a consequence, shops pay more. This means food prices will rise because costs are passed on, and we see our weekly shop increase once again. This is an economy-wide effect of inflation rising again, and as this happens, our spending power naturally falls. Now, this doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in week by week, and that's why so many people don't react early enough. Let's be very clear. War does not usually cause immediate financial collapse in the UK. What it does cause is persistent inflation pressure, and that is much harder to deal with, and this is where it becomes serious. Look at this table. We have the state pension of £12,548. It uses almost all our allowance. As you see, that's £12,570, and it's been frozen. There's no protection for us from inflation. Energy is rising and is volatile, and that gives us direct cost pressure. This, of course, means prices of food is increasing, and that is a weekly impact at the moment. And tax is expanding quietly at the same time, meaning more income is taxed. So there's a dual effect here of prices rising and we are being taxed more. Your state pension, you see, now almost fills your tax-free allowance. That leaves just £22 before tax starts. So at the exact moment prices are rising, tax starts earlier. Almost every extra pound you receive is now taxable. And at a time when energy prices are still volatile, food costs remain high, and inflation continues to eat away quietly at our spending power. This is what I call the double pressure system. Once again, I repeat, not only are costs rising, but our exposure to tax is also increasing. So how do we stay financially stable in 2026 and beyond? Well, we must each develop a strategy. The goal is no longer just getting by. It becomes the search for stability, the need for us to gain control in order to protect ourselves. And we achieve this through a structured spending, tax-aware income planning, and a smart use of assets. Look at this table of the risk profile in 2026-27 for the different income levels. I've included 3 levels, 15,000 to 20,000, the first level, which are at high risk, and their main pressure comes from meeting essential costs. Now the second bracket, 20,000 to 30,000 group, have a medium risk level, and their main pressure comes from tax and inflation. And the third bracket of those 30,000 and over, their risk level is lower, but they are still exposed, and their main pressure comes from tax inefficiency that they may have. Let's look at each of these in order to see where they are at risk and how we can help ourselves if we are in that particular group. Group A, the 15,000 to 20,000, at this level, most of our income is already committed. So, even small increases in costs create pressure. Look at this budget pressure example, showing energy, food, council tax, and the total increases of all 3 before and after inflationary effects. Look how they're rising, not by a few pounds, but well over £100. And the total increase of all 3 of these is £150 a month on these essential costs. And the priority, as I said here, is to try to stabilise things and to get maximum support for ourselves. So our first action is to claim everything that's available. Do check entitlement to pension credit, council tax reduction, warm home discount, winter fuel payment, and household support fund. There's a potential gain here, you see, of between £2,000 and £4,000 per year. This is where many people lose money. They're simply not claiming for it. What many people are doing now, and I hope we all are beginning to follow, is by turning more to cheaper basic but nutritional foods such as tinned goods, rice, pasta, frozen vegetables, and cooking oil, because that reduces our exposure to price hikes. Our second action for this group is to remove what I call spending leakage. Do cancel any unused subscriptions you may have. Reduce streaming duplication and use free online news. Don't keep buying those expensive newspapers if you can use online sources instead. If you have them, use the right assets first. And in this order: number 1, cash; number 2, any ISAs you might have; and number 3, any premium bonds. Avoid pension withdrawals early where possible. Now let's turn to Group B, the 20,000 to 30,000 group. The priority here is to avoid the 2026 tax trap. It's where you have a state pension, but you also have a private pension, say in this case £12,000, which means your total income is pushed up to £24,548 in this case. Personal allowance is £12,570, as we know. So our taxable income is now a whopping £11,978. Even modest pension income will now trigger tax immediately. And the action that you can take is, if you have any, use ISAs as a tax shield, because ISA withdrawals will cost you nothing in tax, but pension withdrawals are taxable, as we saw in this table. And your second action, do look at phased drawdown and avoid large lump sums. Use controlled withdrawals each year. And your third action, if you are married, use your marriage allowance. You can transfer £1,260 allowance, which saves up to £252 every year. Look at the table showing you your mid-income tax strategy. You have your ISA withdrawals because they're a tax-free income, and that can save you over £1,000 in tax. You have phased drawdown, which avoids higher tax, and you have your marriage allowance, which will reduce tax by up to £252. Now, moving on to Group C. That's for those in the £30,000 and over income bracket. Their priority is tax efficiency and asset protection. Look at this inefficiency example. If pension is the only income, there's £4,000 plus paid. Pension plus ISA mix, tax immediately lowered £1,500 to £2,000. The first action to take would be income layering. Use income in this order. Number 1, a personal allowance first, then your ISA withdrawals, and then, if you have to, pension income. And your second action is use allowances. If you have savings, you have an allowance of up to £1,000 a year and a dividend allowance of £500. And third action, do avoid large withdrawals and spread your income across years to reduce your tax load. So here's a table of what to use and what to avoid. Use cash savings first because there's no tax. Then your ISAs because they're tax-free. Then premium bonds, no tax on these either. Then pension, but in a controlled manner because they are taxable. And lastly, treat as a very last resort, home equity. That is a long-term risk. Because the danger of equity release is it will reduce inheritance because interest compounds and it's hard to reverse. So please use as a last resort. This applies to everyone. We need to look at our costs in the cost control strategy. Here's a table of your monthly cost checklist. Subscriptions, please cancel any that are unused. Insurances, review these annually. Don't let them just roll over. You can save hundreds of pounds a year doing just this. Energy, monitor your usage because there's ways that you can save on energy, and I'll go into this in more detail in another video. And food, do plan your food intake. Perhaps try and prepare more yourself and bulk buy. It will save you pounds. And some smart shopping ideas are use multi-buying carefully. Avoid reactive spending and try to shop on pension discount days. I know Iceland has these, so do look around. You will find that there are a lot of reduced items. There are items that you need to use on the same day. Many of them will last until the following day, and you can save more than half on some of them going into shops, usually at the later part of the day. Now, if you're still able to and enjoy your holidays, why not, if you can, look into coach holidays because many of these are all-inclusive and there are some great deals to be had. Look at last-minute deals. Again, some of the prices are cut by half, so do look into these and perhaps consider not going abroad so much, but stay in this country. There are many support systems around, and here's a table listing the main ones for you. Now, if you're on a low income, benefits are where you will look. That is on gov.uk. There are many, so do have a look at that. Council support, you go to your local authority for help with this. Energy help, ask your provider. They will be more than happy to help you. And for advice, citizens' advice is a good way to start. A tax strategy summary would be: stay within your allowances and avoid tax. Use your ISAs, they're tax-free. Spread withdrawals for lower tax. Check your tax code. Avoid overpaying. I've done many videos recently on this and saved people hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So the 3 control moves for us all are: reduce our costs, that will give us stability; structure our income so that we pay lower tax; and use support to get more from the income that we've got and keep more of it. As a final summary, in 2026, we know that our state pension almost fills our personal allowance now, with only £22 left before we pay tax. We know that inflation continues to pressure spending, and we need to know that tax will apply sooner. We must remember this is manageable if you understand the system. You must structure your income in the ways I've shown you, and that will help you stay in control. This is not a crisis, it's a shift. And those who adapt early, they will stay financially secure and reduce their tax. As always, I'm only offering you general information. It's not personal financial advice, but it's based on current UK tax and pension rules and public guidance for 2026-27 tax year. And you must remember that individual circumstances can vary and rules can change. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please would you like and subscribe, and think about sharing with someone who might well be able to use this information to help them in times of need, which many of us are these days. I'm here. You can ask for help with information in the comments below, and I'd be pleased to help you with that. I'm Angie, and this is UK Money Wisdom. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.